Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Resistance Rundown, our weekly Star Wars show where we talk movie news, small screen news, books, Star Wars land, everything in between.
That's right.
Sorry for the delay from yesterday. We had internet issues for several days, but it was definitely not happening yesterday.
Yep.
So, here we are on a Thursday instead, but plenty to talk about. 14, 15 days out, depending on how you
Count it. We bought our tickets for the 14th.
Yes.
So technically 2 weeks for us.
We will be there experiencing the glory.
Can't wait.
That's right.
Well, to start off our movie headlines, of course, we're going to start with The Last Jedi because what else do we start with these days?
Exactly.
T-minus 15 days going down. And we had Empire Magazine release some new covers, some photos, some of which were very similar to what we had already seen. The covers, we did have, most importantly, a Porg cover.
Yes, Molly's favorite.
I mean, let's be for real. Who are the shining stars in this movie? It is the Porgs and the Vulptexes. Those are the two creatures
I'll
to
take
be.
the Vulptexes.
I know. I like them both. We also had a Snow Troopers. Was it an actual cover or is it just a photo?
I thought it was just a photo.
Might just be a photo, but really
Looks
cool
cool.
photo.
Yeah,
Yeah, like super neat. We have two covers with Kylo. One where like specifically very much the dark side with the red silhouette and everything. Also two covers with Rey. Same thing. Character poster and then a very neat light side poster.
Just kind of different poses.
Yeah, it was. We had Rey handing the saber to Luke, that shot that we keep on seeing in the trailer, just printed on a magazine cover. And then we also have one of Rey and Luke together.
Yep.
So, and then I noticed there was another picture of DJ lounging.
Yeah, that's one we saw earlier in the week. It was just finally like a higher quality version of it.
Yeah,
Looks like he's on Canto Bight would be my
basically.
guess.
Yeah, and then they also had like 3 new behind the scenes photos. There was a Q&A with Ryan Johnson on Star Wars Newsnet that had Rose and Finn in the middle of a shot.
Yeah.
Hamill coming into the cave, which looked super cool.
The cave or the Force Tree, we're not sure.
Yeah, that's true. It looks like a cave based on the shot, but you're right. We don't really know because we haven't seen the movie. Hey, who knew?
That's right.
And then there's also a really cool behind the scenes shot of Finn and Phasma with like all of the crew around. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's awesome. Just because I would stand around and watch it too, no matter what I was doing if I were on that set. So
Ryan Johnson's been pretty great about photography.
Yeah.
And sharing that. So
he really has. So thank you, Ryan Johnson. We all appreciate it. We also had 2 new TV spots, although I hesitate to call the second one new. It just had some new dialogue.
Yeah.
The first one was called Back. It had 2 new portions. We had Phasma speaking and saying, "So good to have you back." And as always, she looks awesome with her
She's also,
blaster.
it was like a very menacing sound. I
Man,
love
Gwendolyn Christie.
She's great.
Let's talk about it. And then she had more soldiers with blasters beside her, which I'm going to... We might be wrong. I'm just assuming that's whenever Finn and them are discovered, because I'm sure they're going to be.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, that's what I would guess. And then we also had Chewie smacking the Porg out of the way. It shouldn't have been funny, but it kind of was.
Yeah, and the Porg is like doing this like very intense scream.
Yeah.
And, like, it's kind of freaky, actually.
Yeah, and
so.
Chewie's like, "Hey, yo, you got to move. Like, I got to take care of this." So that happened. And then there was another TV spot, but basically just had new dialogue. It was powerful light, powerful darkness, and then all stuff that we've seen before.
You know, I'll say this for the marketing for this movie. I don't know what's going on. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's to the point now with TV spots, I'm like, oh, look, it's the same thing with like a different word. And that's not a complaint. It's just funny at this point. Because it's like, oh, I need a new TV spot. And I'm like, sure.
Cool.
It
there might be
one word and like one different angle of the same shot that we've seen.
Exactly. Exactly.
Again, not a complaint. It's fine.
But
I feel like at this point with The Force Awakens, we saw a lot more.
Yeah. But we also had literally no idea what was going on.
Well, I had more of an idea, I think, in the first one than I have now. This movie is 2.5 hours long. The only thing I know is that there is Rey and Luke on the island. Crate.
Rose and Finn are
we haven't seen anything from Canto Bight.
Except that one shot of them running through with BB-8.
Yeah, but like that's
pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
For good reason, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Well, going back to that Empire interview, Andy Serkis made some comments about Smoke.
Smoke.
Smoking
kills everybody.
Snoke. I'm still drinking coffee, so there you have it. Snoke during the interview, and did confirm that Snoke is not a Sith. His comments were, Snoke is bloody dark, way darker than Palpatine. He's riddled with this osteoporosis, so his body's twisted like a corkscrew. He's incredibly damaged. There's a bizarre vulnerability about him. Beneath that vulnerability, though, is this intense hatred. He's definitely not a Sith, but he's certainly at the darker end of the Force. Without giving too much away, that begins to unfold a little in this one.
Yeah, so these are great comments. But it's funny to me that they said, well, he's not a Sith, but he's at the darker end of the, and I'm like, so he's worse than a Sith? Is that kind of what I'm...
Well, and it kind of fits in with the theme that we're already having, where like, throughout most of our Star Wars experiences, it's been the Sith and the Jedi, Sith and Jedi. Yeah. And, everyone's talking about how this is different and how Luke is going off to find out more about the Jedi and, and his understanding of the Force in general. And so to me, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. You're right. We're going to push the boundaries. Rey is not going to be a Jedi. She's going to be something different. Snoke is not going to be a Sith. He's going to be something different. And really, in a way, they've already set that up with Kylo as well, just because... for him to be part of the Knights of Ren. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, just a whole new world that we're entering in here.
Well, it's also, too, that, really, when it comes down to it, the Sith and the Jedi...
We're full of mispronunciations
today. Is just, really more or less kind of like religious sects of everything. So it's not like... every dark side user has to be a Sith, or every Force user has to be a Jedi, or vice versa. So I think that's kind of what we're going to get in this movie. I think it's going to be. There's also been some interesting. I don't think we've talked about this yet, but there was some interesting stuff in the comic with Lor San Tekka.
Yeah.
And it's not spoilery, I don't think.
I think we weren't going to talk about that too much, just because that ties into Battlefront.
No. This was something different. Although, we're not going to talk about. If you haven't played Battlefront 2, I think the multiplayer is kind of just.
Just so we're clear, he rented it so that he could see what the single player campaign was like.
Yes. I rented it just so I could play the single player zone. But. I forget where I was even going with that statement. Lor San Tekka. Thanks. But he references, like, because he's part of the Church of the Force, like, there's this interest in going back before when the Force was an all-encompassing kind of thing. So there's this kind of, I don't know, I feel like slight hinting of, like, going back before the Sith and the Jedi were a thing.
Right.
It's an interesting idea.
Yeah, definitely.
And I kind of hope that's maybe where we're going.
It kind of sounds like that is where we're going, and I hope so. Also, he's kind of made some comments recently, too, about how Snoke has this intense hatred for the Resistance, and that it's fueled by what has happened to him personally. So I'm interested to see where that's going to go, because I'm like, what has the Resistance done to... You know what I mean? To personally
I'm kind of wondering, like, where Leia comes into this equation.
Yeah, I think it's going to be... I think it's going to come down to the two of them at some point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we also mentioned that Johnson did a live Q&A through Twitter, because Rian Johnson is awesome and continues to do stuff like that. And people were asking a lot of stuff about Finn, and so he just said that there would be a deep exploration into the character of Finn, and that he's setting him up to have a rather intriguing arc, was the way that it was phrased, which I think we would all expect at this point.
Yeah.
Obviously we want to know how he and Rose end up partnered together, because obviously he was unconscious at the end of The Force Awakens, so there's that, and we're all looking forward to this battle between Finn and Phasma. and kind of their history being delved into a little bit. I know we don't really talk a lot about the comics on here just because there's so many and so much time investment there, and it's just hard to keep up. But, Phasma trained the stormtroopers and everything, and so Finn is one of those, and from one of the comments I think it's revealed that Finn is actually one of her favorite students and one of her favorite trainees, and so there's definitely a level of can't think of the word, kind of revenge and everything there for defecting and leaving. Yes, so very excited about that. Which, staying on Phasma, Gwendolyn Christie has actually been on this press tour a little bit more, which I think is nice. It's an indication of how much more I think we're going to get of her character in The Last Jedi. And she shared a really interesting story about the first time she got to see the Phasma uniform. And I just thought this was really neat. She said, when I was taken to the top secret wardrobe department to see my Captain Phasma costume, a shiny full body suit of armor, I was truly electrified. Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm, had asked me if I'd ever Googled female superheroes and proceeded to show me the results. A plethora of scantily clad, cartoon-like women and not a whole lot else. And so, and it just kind of continued to talk about how Kathleen just really wanted to turn that on its head. That Phasma was not going to be like that at all. That she was going to be a force of nature and where she was at, and that for the most part you didn't know she was female, except for her voice, which is still modulated. So it gives it a very imposing. I think they're trying to
go for the non-sexualized angle as women typically are in roles like this, and even kind of going back to even Leia in Return of the Jedi is one step crazy, but so I think they're trying to kind of swing more into not having these stereotypes of these type of things.
Which so far we haven't in the new stuff.
No, it hasn't been that way.
Rey and even Jen, very different.
Very strong, very independent female characters.
And Phasma too, although it goes more into her novel, they're definitely setting her up to be the same way, just on a different side.
And I think even Rose is going to be that way.
Yeah, I think so.
Just from the very little
Super
tiny bit we've
excited
seen.
about that. If you guys have not read any of the interview stuff with Kelly Marie Tran, just Google and find it because she is adorable.
She was also on the actual Star Wars show yesterday. So if you check that out, it's a great interview with her.
You really should. Well, speaking of Canto Bight, a little bit earlier, Topps has been releasing trading cards and revealing a different picture pretty much every day leading up to The Last Jedi for about a week. And one of their new collectible cards via Twitter that they did on Friday. There we go. Can't talk, guys. I'm telling you, this is what you have to put up with today. It depicts two officers of the Canto Bight police force collecting information from what looks like a concerned citizen. So it's kind of the first we've seen of that, for sure. The outfits are definitely very futuristic looking, and I feel like it very much doesn't look like they're part of either Resistance or Empire, if that makes sense.
It's very prequel-ish.
It is.
In a good way.
In a good way. That should be definitely noted on this show with our feelings on that normally.
That's one very good thing of the prequels. Costume design and stuff was super on point.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
There's a positive word of thing about the prequels.
And lastly, for The Last Jedi, tracking has kind of been updated. Deadline revealed the latest tracking numbers and puts it on track for the movie making over $200 million in its opening weekend, and really kind of keeping in step with The Force Awakens for the most part, which we talked about before. I don't think it'll be quite to Force Awakens numbers, but if it breaks it, it'll be still only in 4 films to break 200 million in its opening weekend.
Even if it makes over 200, a little bit over 200, it'll be still in the very exclusive club.
Yes.
I think reaching over 200 million is completely possible. I think even matching Force Awakens is possible.
It really just depends on reception. That's
really
what it all comes down to.
It depends on once those first social media little reviews come out. That will be the litmus test, I think.
Yep.
But I don't expect anything other than great things.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think obviously that's what Lucasfilm is intending. They're already giving Rian Johnson the trilogy. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of confidence going into this movie.
I think 215, 220 is
it's
well
reasonable.
reasonable.
Yeah, it's
well
totally reasonable. Well, we're going to move into not really Last Jedi movie news, but kind of miscellaneous movie news, just things that popped up on our radar over the past week.
Yeah.
And one is Daisy Ridley done with playing Rey after episode 9? There was an interview with Rolling Stone with her and Adam Driver and Mark Hamill, and she started talking about her experience with Lucasfilm, just how positive that has been, but also saying that she didn't, she thought she understood what she was signing up for at the time, but I think as you really get into the kick of Star Wars and all the press and all the marketing and all this stuff, she's begun to see just how much bigger it really is whenever she signed up for the trilogy. And so from the article, they asked her if she's going to come back based on positive experiences after 9, and she said no. She said, no. I am really, really excited to do the third thing and round it out, because ultimately what I was signing on to was 3 films. So in my head, it's 3 films. I think it will feel like the right time to round it out. So, is she really going to be able to walk away at the end of episode 9? And if so, is she just going to be able to do it for a small break and bring back in, or what do you think?
I have a hard time believing that she won't be back for anything after 9.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the fate of her character is in 9.
Right.
But I can't imagine that they would kill her off. Although with comments like this, maybe they will. I'm just, it's a joke.
Joking. Yeah.
But I think I understand where she's coming from.
Yeah.
For sure. But I don't think that's going to be entirely her decision. I don't know what kind of contract she has, but I would imagine they own her everything. Yeah. I mean, I don't anticipate them to come right back out and do another trilogy with these characters. I think them announcing Ryan's trilogy kind of says that
it's going to be a
little bit. But I can't imagine. You had Kathleen Kennedy, a week ago, saying that they were looking at stories with Poe and Finn and Rey and BB-8 and stuff. So, I can't imagine that those conversations have not been had.
Right.
So this could be her playing coy. It could also just be her,
But one thing we have talked about, too, is that depending on what standalone films they do and, when these new trilogy releases come out, it could be 10 years till she has to play Rey again. I mean, honestly.
Well, and the thing is too is that as we've seen with lots of people before that come out and say they don't want to play a character anymore, and then they back a dump truck up to their house with money, and
it's hard to argue.
It happens.
Yeah.
So I people that are freaking out about it, I wouldn't get all that concerned about it. Daniel Craig has not wanted to play Bond twice now. So,
and he's going to be coming back again.
Come back a third time.
That's right.
I wouldn't necessarily take everything she says as the gospel truth. So.
That's fair. Well, speaking of standalone Star Wars films, Denis Villeneuve, who's one of our favorite directors for the record, was on Josh Horowitz's Happy Sad Confused podcast, and on that show he revealed his love particularly for A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. And while he may not be interested in contributing to the Skywalker saga, he showed some interest in directing a non-saga Star Wars film. He commented, "It's something that, again, it's like I would be intrigued. I don't know, it's very difficult. What is dangerous with Star Wars right now is it's become its own vocabulary. I would love to see them. I think Rogue One was a very interesting attempt to get out of the mold." Which Denny has always kind of been vocal. He's really not into the whole superhero thing and all the connected universe, and I understand. I happen to like it, but I realize, so it gets a lot of criticism too, and I understand why. But can we please just give him a standalone Star Wars film, Lucasfilm,
I
please?
think what you give Denny is you give him a something that doesn't have to be related to anything.
Mm-hmm. Something that hasn't been delved into yet?
Yeah, some outpost in the middle of nowhere that doesn't have connections to anything.
And then let him make up everything, and then guess what? It becomes canon, and then everybody else can work around it.
the thing, it would look incredible, like you absolutely know it would. If you haven't seen Blade Runner 2049. Matter of fact, watching that movie, I thought, God, he would be incredible with a Star Wars film, just from a cinematic and like a tone standpoint.
Oh yeah.
So, Kathy, get on the phone and call him, and let's make this happen. As much as I'd like to see Dune, I would much rather see
Denis Villeneuve's Star Wars movie. Oh my gosh. Sorry. So excited. Just even thinking about it, just the possibility makes me excited.
Yep.
Well, in other movie news, Disney has reportedly cut a deal with National Cinemedia to provide behind-the-scenes content for the program Nuvi. For anyone who goes to the movies now, that's the new little pre-show
used to be
deal.
First Look.
Yeah, now it's
Now
Nuvi.
it's Nuvi.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, the point is they're going to be providing exclusive behind-the-scenes looks at Star Wars, The Last Jedi, Black Panther, A Wrinkle in Time, Infinity War, The Incredibles 2, and also the Solo film.
Yep.
So, expect to kind of see some more stuff rolling out, I would imagine.
We've already seen a little
soon.
bit of Last Jedi.
Yeah.
We went.
We have.
Was that last weekend?
Yep.
So, it actually had a few new shots.
Sure did.
So, that was kind of cool.
Definitely worth getting to the theaters a little early to see something on that.
Yep.
And then lastly, just FYI, The Last Jedi cast is going to be appearing with Rian Johnson on Jimmy Kimmel Live on Friday.
Yep.
So.
Also, I don't think we have this in the notes, but there is a Disney special tonight at, I think it's 9 Eastern, that's supposedly going to have a Last Jedi clip and also some more information about Galaxy's Edge. Now, whether if it's actually something new or not, well, you can always, who knows. But I'll be checking it out.
Yes.
For sure.
Basically.
And it's Disney because, well, we like Disney.
That's right. So with no more news on Rebels at the moment, we're going to move right into the bookshelf. Last week we talked about the synopsis of Canto Bight. That actually comes out on Tuesday, on December 5th. Remember those 4 interconnected stories that are going to explore the deception and danger of the lavish casino city. The big thing about this right now is A, it comes out on Tuesday, but B, there's an excerpt from the audiobook on StarWars.com from the story Hear Nothing, See Nothing, Say Nothing, and it focuses on the character of Lexo Sugair. Maybe I'm saying that right. Maybe I'm not. We'll find out. And he is the finest masseur in Canto Bight, and he's about to have, I think, a run-in with maybe some not-so-lucky circumstances. So, like I said, audiobook excerpt, it's on StarWars.com. There was also a small sample like a week ago that came out that's not audio book. Yeah. So, or you can just wait until Tuesday because it'll be available then.
Yes, this is true.
So there you have it. There is your bookshelf news. All 2 minutes of it.
Yep. Moving on to another very short segment today is Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. This makes up for the 20 minutes we talked about it last week. Hasn't really been a whole lot of updates. We had a few new aerial shots of the Hollywood studio version, which basically just shows them closing in those buildings finally, particularly the Escape First Order attraction. Right. There is no official name of it yet, I don't think. And then you can definitely see the Falcon ride is very much shaping up. And they're actually starting to get some auxiliary structures kind of around. It's going to be some of the restaurants and shopping and everything else that will be involved in that area. It's really coming together, though.
Yeah.
2019 is rapidly approaching.
But not soon enough.
Not soon enough, no. But, well, that very short segment leads us into another very short segment.
I don't really have a title for this. It's just other miscellaneous Star Wars
miscellaneous
news.
We'll put that in there.
Isn't that nice? One is there's a VR experience that's coming out called Droid Repair Bay. It's the official VR experience for The Last Jedi from ILMX Lab. It's going to put you on Leia's ship to repair BB-8 and other astromech droids. The trailer dropped yesterday. That's really the main bit of news about it. Check it out. Looks cute. And then the full experience will drop on December 6th. So about a week before the movie. Yep.
So if you have one of those HTC or Samsung units, you can experience that for free, I think.
I think it's free. Mm-hmm. So. And then lastly, since we all love to tweet about Star Wars, some of our new favorites can be found with emojis in their hashtags. That's right. Porgs, BB-8, and BB-Hate, aka BB-9E, its real name. I just like to call it BB-Hate because I think it's funny.
I think it's, they really should call it that.
I think so. I mean, there would have been a whole wave of Star Wars fans that would have pushed back hard on that, but I think it would have been funny. And so whenever you hashtag Porgs, BB-8, or BB-9E, they will appear beside it, and they're so cute. Hashtag Porg Nation.
Yes, you can tell which one of us is more excited about that news.
Maybe I'll put one in our hashtag whenever I promote this show.
Hey, watch out. Well, today in Star Wars History 101 is actually kind of this week in Star Wars History 101, because I thought this was more appropriate. On December 26th, all the way back in 1996, StarWars.com was launched, which is hard to believe that it has been online that long. So
that's cool, especially since we talked about it earlier.
I would have been like 11.
Yes, I would have been 7.
Yes. So.
We still had dial-up at that point in our lives.
Yes.
So.
We sure did.
Ooh. Although Mediacom, not much different sometimes.
Yes. A little bit of cable internet humor for you guys.
Yep, that's right.
Well, that does it for our somewhat shorter episode of the Resistance Rundown. Yep. With everything else being kind of on hiatus.
Yeah, unfortunately with the holidays, it's kind of the way it's going to be.
Yep. But in 2 weeks, expect like a 4-hour podcast about The Last Jedi.
Oh my gosh. And then starting in January, I'm sure we'll have the marketing kickoff for Han
Han
Solo. So don't worry, guys. It'll be a short lull.
Plenty of stuff coming.
You'll get to hear us yap a lot more in the future. Don't worry.
That's right. Well, that does it for episode 8 of the Resistance Rundown. Thanks for checking us out. If you'd like to see more of this, you can hit the subscribe button below. If you like it, give us a like, give us a comment. Let us know anything else you'd like to see on the show. If you'd like to check out more general movie news, you can check us out on The Shot List, our movie podcast. I'll include the link below. You can also find our movie reviews on Twitter and Instagram at ATL_movies or on AboveTheLineMovies.com. Right. And lastly, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at BeachJD.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at MCBeach.
Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.